Hey everybody, this is Norby of CTCM Radio, a station for all nations, and we're back with another video, another episode of just conversation. I should just call this conversation because I keep telling everybody, that comes here, hey, this is unscripted. This is not like I got a script of questions. I'm not giving you like questions ahead of time, and most of the time the people that come on here are really just friends of ours and people that come to our church. Not all the time, but when we do get the privilege of having some of our own people to come on, it's a privilege because, we have a history, we have a backstory. And I think part of what I like to do, outside of what you guys see me do on Sunday mornings online, and if you know me like throughout my weeks in Commitment Church and what I do there, I love to do these settings of, what we now call like podcasters and YouTubers and join the family of YouTubers online, but bringing a little bit of a realness and a groundedness to what we're trying to project and communicate to everyone that's watching now. So today I have another friend of ours, a person that's been coming to our church for many, many years, and has been a key role in what we're doing today when it comes to projecting that message of excellence of the gospel to everyone online and on Sunday mornings. And today we have our brother Jason Brice.
I appreciate you,
Jason
brother.
Brice, Dr. Brice, right? That's your
That was
right?
what that was. I
Okay.
mean, then I started to, I matured a little bit, so I said, I don't have a doctorate, so I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, you were literal.
I'm not even right. I'm not even gonna even rock like.
But
So I just
you
go.
got artists, they use it. Like,
That's true, but
we're doctors in our craft.
that's true. That's true. But so now I just go by Doc Brice.
Gotcha.
'Cause that's what my father used to nickname. That was my father's nickname for me when I was a kid. So I just go by Doc Brice now, and maybe in like a year or two, who knows? I'll go get my doctorate, and then I'll be officially Dr. Brice.
That's
you know
awesome,
what I mean?
bro. So I'm wearing some swag right now.
Absolutely.
Because that's how I be. Now, this is a foam popper, but I had to put it on the keychain just to kind of put it out there.
Absolutely.
I'm hot under air conditioning, y'all. So
Right.
I would have wore everything. Yeah, he brought me like a scarf and everything. And
Absolutely.
winter's coming, so you know what? That's going to be
Right.
happening. But he brought me a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about today, and some testimonies and some points of growth and points of like, we all have times where we feel like our lives are over, like things are just going downhill, and we're gonna talk a little bit about those experiences, and this is like testimony night, man. Like
It is.
I mean, this is what we set up this for. Is that I want everybody to understand that the people that you see on a normal basis at church, especially those that are on stage, leading you through the word, leading you through the music and the worship, and leading you those unthanked, unseen, fellas in the back where they do the sound and they do the
Sure.
projection. You don't see them up front, but they're up front in a lot of ways that we don't even realize. It's like a thankless job, or almost like, and it's like a funny, thing. Like we just even like last night we had a meeting with the whole team. We do this annually where we talk about all of the different things, and we kind of, brush on, from being on time to, giving excellence to the Lord, and believe it or not, how finances work and in a ministry, and all these different points that a lot of times people don't talk about in ministry, and we just think that God is like a genie in a
Right.
bottle.
Right.
And it's like, oh, look at that
Right.
board, man, and let's
Right.
go buy this and let's go buy that.
Right.
Well, that's not how it works. You got to
Right.
pray your life, and then you got to kind of prioritize and know how God wants to work things in, including volunteers, including people
Absolutely.
that come in and give of their time. 'Cause
Absolutely.
that is a very valuable thing. I believe that's, if not the most valuable thing, is
Sure.
time.
Right.
Time, giving time. Like time, talent, and treasure.
Right.
It all goes together. So give me a little bit of a background of how you learned about commitment years ago. And
Okay.
what got you to come to commitment?
So, I think that I was just looking for a church. I think I was with my ex-wife at the time, and we were just, we were new to the area, so we just came up from Baltimore. And I got a new job. I got a new job. I lost my job down in Baltimore, and then I got blacklisted, which I didn't realize I didn't realize back. I was still young, still old enough to know, but still very young and immature. So
Okay.
when I lost my job in Baltimore, I got another job real quick.
Okay.
But I put as a reference the former job, and they hired me. And then 45 minutes later, they called me back and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Brice. No, we can't. We have to rescind the offer." So that's what pushed me to kind of move here. I got a job at Steininger, and then we were up here. And then I was just kind of looking for somewhere to go with me and my family where we could go for, I think it might have been Easter or something. And we just were riding, and I said, well, let's just try here. And Kimberly probably said, let's just try here. And we was like, all right. And then we tried. And then we was like, hey, this is not bad. It's all right. You know what I mean? And we came again and came again and came again. And then, you know, right. You know what I mean? But one of the biggest things for me was the word. So I now know about worship and understand worship more now and how much I need it. You know what I'm saying? But back then, it was just about the word. I needed to hear the word. I could care less about the music back then. I just want to hear the word. And Pastor Cedric, I related to what he was saying. So that's what kept me there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what got you to the point where, because I think you even volunteered a little bit at that point.
Yes.
You know, so what were the standouts for you as it relates to, I think, me trying to connect at least one of the things that you're really good at, the music scene.
Right.
You know, what stood out to you to want to serve in the capacity? Because I think people sometimes don't know how we get involved in these things.
Yes.
We go to church and then something God puts in our heart, and then it stands out to say, it makes us and convicts us to say, oh, you know what, I want to help with that.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to what stood out to you?
I think at that time, I'm not, I can't necessarily go back to the actual moment when I said, okay, yeah, you know what, I'll do it. But I think that, as, you kind of getting to know the people in the church and the individuals, then we becoming like Facebook friends or whatever. And then, I started putting like little videos of, things that I was doing and things that, I kind of was trying to chase at the time. And then it was like, oh, okay, I hear you do music, blah, blah, and this and that. And it's like, okay, well, man, we know we need some help up in the booth with my boy Jim Barr. Right.
Yeah.
Jim Barr.
We're going back.
Right.
Jim Barr's been on it for a long time.
Well, right.
Now he moved to Texas.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I think, me and Pastor talk, and he was like, yeah, please, can you help us, bro, and whatever. Because Jim sometimes would be up there by himself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, that's not right, whatever. So then, and it was Titus. And then, forgot about Titus Miller. Right. So Titus, kind of like trained me.
Yes.
On, kind of, because I could hear him now to my, it's science, man. It's science. And so he kind of was teaching me or whatever at that time. But, I tell you, when I think about that time, and that's part of the reason I think, what really kind of like drew me back, right? If you want to kind of get into it, I could just go to it. You know what I'm saying? So, I think at that time, though, when I was doing it, I thought I was doing it for me. I didn't really understand, like, you're doing this for God.
Yeah,
even though I might say, and we, pastors talking to us, you're even talking to us or whatever, and we're like, yeah, and I'm, we're doing this for God, and in my head, I'm saying, yeah. But really, I didn't connect it. I didn't really understand it. Yeah. So, when church hurt comes or whatever, or how I perceived it, then it's like, nah, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? And then over time, as life evolved, and it wasn't until, I promise you were singing I Believe. Word, I'm serious. I'm sitting in the back row, you singing I Believe. And I said, why did I ever leave? I said, what a wonderful talent and blessing, because that song was blessing me. And it was just the way you sang it and I was like, wow. And that's what made me say, and then I said, you know what, I was wrong. And I think I said that to you, and I think I said it to Pastor too, that you know what, when I left, or I didn't leave, but when I took my volunteer time away, okay, let me be clear. When I took my volunteer time away, I wasn't hurting anybody but hurting God, because we do what we do for Him. And that's what I've become. But at that time, I wasn't there.
Yeah. You know, it starts like that. You know, with people, they come in, you know, there's like this first love effect, right? That
Sure.
people come in with all the expectations of, you know, how God's going to serve me, how
Sure.
God's going to change my life, which He does, right? He
Right.
does that.
Right.
And it's almost like He has these, like, at least in my humanity of thinking, right? In my human way of thinking, God has these buttons that here's phase one.
Right,
Here's
right.
the first love, you walk
Right,
into
right.
the door. Here's
Right,
all the things
right,
that come
right.
with that. You know, serving in the ministry, listening to worship, getting accustomed to people
Right.
and all that, getting out of comfort zones. Then phase two, you know, and then you're going
Right.
into like this whole, like, I want to serve, I want to do something, you know, I
Right.
want to get into it. And not a lot of people get to phase 3, 4, 5.
Right.
Because what happens there is that now you're in what we want to call like the real serving trenches of ministry,
Sure.
where now things start popping off.
Right.
You know, it's like now you're working with other people that may have, whether they got good or bad habits,
Right.
they rub us the wrong way, and it makes
Right.
it a thing that we have growth, they have growth, and it's all happening at the same time.
At the same time.
And it's making
Yeah,
sparks.
yeah,
And
yeah.
not a lot of people like go farther, because rightfully so, right? People know that church is a place of hurt people, broken people. So a lot of people, actually, to their credit, they respect the process, but in a different kind of way.
Sure.
They say, I'd rather leave because I don't want to cause more trouble,
Right.
right? They take it upon themselves.
Right.
Although God is saying, you shouldn't be leaving because they're broken just like you. We all need to heal together.
Yeah.
So I think that's what.
No, that's exact. No, it's exact. It's the exact. I mean, I can't even express it better. But it's amazing how life is sometimes. Sometimes you have to, and this is what I've been saying. Sometimes you have to pass the moment to realize the moment. So like, I couldn't see it at the moment. I couldn't see it at the time. But when I went past it, and now I evolved, and now I understood, like, yo, everything you do, not just with serving at church, I mean, everything you do is for God. Yeah. It's the reason why He made you talented. It's the reason why He built you up. He sent you through all those different things. So He did all that. Now you think, what, it's just for you? No. It's for you to serve the people. And when once I grasped that and I really understood it, that level of humility came. Yes. Along with saying, you know what, I think I'm gonna adopt this. I got this Chick-fil-A philosophy, which is the my pleasure. Yeah. I'm always my pleasure, my pleasure. Because it don't matter how many times you ask something for something, they gonna say my pleasure. So that's just what it took. But it took some time, like, you know, letting go of the ego, letting go of the pride. I mean, the pride is always, I think that's always a trial that you'll always have to battle. But knowing how to check it, knowing how to be able to see outside yourself, that's where growth happens. That's where it's at.
Yeah,
that's
it's
where
not
it's at.
So much like we all. I mean, we can't say I have problems with pride. Pride is ingrained.
Right.
You know, the way even, I would even say men are wired.
Sure.
We almost are driven by taking pride in things.
Right.
You know, the kind of jobs we have, the kind of home we have,
right.
car,
right.
You know, how our bank account looks.
Sure.
We don't tell people what we got in there,
right.
But we show it with the way we walk
around. Absolutely.
Worry in the world,
right.
Or whatever. There's a lot of those things that we're just wired, but it's
right.
like you said perfectly, is I think we go about it wrong initially, and then God will show us through these experiences that, you know, I can bless you with all of these things that,
right.
you know, will perish one day. But
right.
you need them now so that I can give you access to other people's hearts that
yes.
are in a place that they're driven by just
yes.
money, just cars, just women, just,
right.
you know, status, you know,
right.
and all this. And I think that's the opportunity that God gives us when we do then get him to flip the third, fourth phase,
Right.
where we start now seeing, oh, okay, I'm here pushing buttons on Sunday because you're using me to push buttons on people's lives, and
Right.
then people are like changing because
Right.
there's something deeper to the way that I'm doing
Right.
sound and showing up on time,
Right.
being here for these things, and
Right.
you know, even when things pop off,
Right.
and like in a negative way or something happens emotionally
Right.
with somebody, we know how to handle it, and then it shows how God does love us because
Right.
we take the time. Most of the time, our pride doesn't let us want to even take the time to fix a problem or a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And I think it's beautiful the way God flips that switch to say, you know what, your maturity level, where you go,
Sure.
God makes it a point now to say, now I can make these things happen
Right.
again,
Right.
because now you're able to now minister back.
Right.
What should happen is we handle the situation in a way that the person is now ministered
Right.
supernaturally.
Right.
How many times we gotten in fights with our spouses or friends,
Sure.
and we kind of like, I'm done. I don't want to talk about this no more.
Right.
You know, and then God keeps pushing that envelope. Like, God,
Yeah.
really? Like, you want me to continue this? Like, you know,
Right.
I'm so heated. And he's like, no, I need you to perform under pressure. I
Right.
need you to understand that no pressure was greater than me dying on
Down
the
the cross. Right.
And
Absolutely.
you over here worrying about somebody whining in your face about something.
Right.
You know, and that's those conversations people sometimes, you know, and
Yeah.
I was so blessed last night because the meeting we had last night with like the worship team, the annual meeting,
Right.
usually goes a whole different way,
Wow.
you know, and then we have to have individual conversations with people to kind of clarify and go into
Right.
it. And we take pride in
Right.
making sure that we take that time with people,
Right.
right? That's the healthy balance. But to have a meeting and not have to call back,
Sure.
and everybody starts getting it because, you know, we really just touch on the same kind of things. But then everybody starts getting it, and we're able to tell people, well, this is how
Right.
things work, and people understand. It's a beautiful reward
Yeah.
to see the years of sacrifice. Like you said, you came back in, and you saw this growth, and you saw these different like things happening that
Sure.
are a beautiful thing. So I found out about Four Walls.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like, all right, so I knew you from before, but I didn't know about that. I don't know
Sure.
if that existed still back then.
No, it started at that time.
Wow.
To be honest with you, I I gave Pastor like a blueprint of it, and I asked him to give me his thoughts about it. You know, because I was trying to figure out what it was, and for the longest time, in my mind, it was just a place where you could go make beats, make music, and I always was able to motivate and counsel kids. So I, you know, even back then, I was a counselor. I was just unemployed as a counselor. So, but I was still a counselor, right? So I just had these different ideas or whatever, and it just, as time went on, man, like, you know, I lost my job March 13th, 2012. I got fired again. You know, and you know, but I was at the same time, I tell people, you know, oh, they did you wrong. I said, yeah, at the time I was like, yeah, they did me wrong. They did me dirty. You know what I'm saying? Forget them, blah, blah. But as I was entering my wilderness and whatever, I realized like, nah, they fired me justly because the people hired me to do a job and I didn't do the job. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. But it was that type of wilderness experience. That wilderness experience, my mom's died July 11th, 2013. And that was the first time that I had experienced that level of death. And that totally like changed me. A month later, me and my wife separated and she left. And I had the kids. And then I had to figure that out. Now I'm still trying to chase my dream, making beats. I promise you, I thought I was the next Kanye West or the next DJ Premier or whatever. I was good, and we were recording. We was doing a lot of stuff up in Washington Heights, Manhattan, doing stuff in Long Island, doing stuff in New York. I was back and forth all the time, and but you know, now I got these new responsibilities, right? So I'm staying up, practicing my craft, working on my beats till about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But my daughter come knocking at 6 o'clock, morning time. I'm hungry, and I'm like, oh no, okay, we got to change this up.
It's an interesting name, Four Walls.
Four
Because
walls.
your four walls were shaken.
Yes.
Your four walls
Yes.
were like
Yeah.
God did some number on.
Oh.
And then, to me, it just sounds like, wow, like your four wall box of
Yeah.
your world. God was totally doing stuff,
Oh,
And
man.
you're like a single, like a single dad, right? Like a
I was.
father.
Yeah, I was, and I was doing it. Me and my wife, my ex-wife at the time, you know what I'm saying? We were really butting heads. I thank God that we're like in a great place now, you know what I'm saying? But at that time, no, we was like this, like, you know what I'm saying? So we didn't communicate. We couldn't communicate like that, and I was just by myself trying to figure all this out, man. And I promise you, man, I would take the kids because I ain't had no job. I was broke, and that went on for about, I would say, like a year and a half. Where I didn't have no job. I didn't have nothing, and I was barely just making. I might do a counseling job here, counseling job there, but for the most part,
How many kids do you have?
I got a total of 4.
4.
Right, but at the time it was 3.
3.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And
How many boys and girls?
one boy and 3 girls.
3 girls.
And the funny thing is that my last child was born 2016. So people would say, "Well, wait a minute. How? I thought you and your wife, y'all were this and that." I said, "Well, yeah, but relationships never go like this. You know what I'm saying? They never end just like, you know what? It's over. No, it's in stages."
Exactly.
So there was some tiptoeing,
Yeah.
back, and Reagan Noel Brice is here. You know what I mean? So, and it's a blessing, But through that whole experience, though, it was, I realized, like, yo, you know what? I got fired from that job because I didn't do the job. I got fired from the job in Baltimore because I didn't do the job. I had got fired 3 times in a row. I wasn't doing the job, so my pride and my ego was just in the way. I tell people I was really just like militant. You know what I'm saying? And now, I just try to not be like that. You know what I'm saying?
No,